With a nervous smile and a tightening of his tie, Professor Burke peeked out from the wings as he mentally prepared himself for the presentation. Not wanting to risk making a rather unfortunate first impression for his species with any accidental foolishness. Well, not the first per se, but this was still a rather special moment. It had been exactly 1 month since humanity had made first contact with aliens via an entire fleet of ships in their own solar system. A welcoming party to the galactic community, as they had been told. It had been that same month that the entire system, or the vast majority of it, had successfully been colonized, with several bases on Pluto and its handful of moons established, and numerous flourishing communities built in the meantime. The captain of the fleet happily claimed that humanity had met the criteria for first contact by reaching the farthest planetoid in their solar system, and had proven themselves worthy of being introduced to the greater galaxy. With it came a species designation, an intelligence rank, and, of course, many samples of FTL technology and other scientific wonders that were practically handed over to eager human researchers for them to examine. Of course, this was not to say that humanity was ready to just swoop in and move into alien apartments a few hundred light years away. The captain informed them that it would be an estimated 15 human years before anything like that was due to happen. And in those many years, information would be shared, alliances built, and history studied. And the new technology would be properly outfitted to human vessels and settlements on all planets of the solar system. Essentially, a way for the greater community to see if humans were truly ready, capable, and able to manage all these new opportunities. And so far, things had been going surprisingly well. Alien and human scientists were having a field day together, sharing notes and the results of various experiments. Historians were awake 24/7, reliving dramatic tales from the past to sentient computers that catalogued every last word. And the leaders of humanity had come together and shook hands with the fleet captain. All of whom were secretly and severely relieved that hundreds of movies about alien invasions had been incorrect. Overall, good times were being had by all. The public had not been informed yet, but that was to be expected. Humanity's higher-ups were still reeling from the revelations a month later, and the rest of their species would just have to wait for the proper moment to learn the truth. There was sure to be a mass panic, no matter what they were told after all. So, precautions had to be taken. Now, as to why Professor Burke was currently 50 light years from Earth, standing in a hallway in an alien institution. So, how does it feel, being at the forefront of such an important event in your kind's history? The alien next to him asked, a tall and imposing being, with dozens of green eyes spread across their chest. Their name in English translated to Bren, and they were the only assistant given to the human to help him set up the incoming presentation. Everything you say here today will be the first information that the public galactic community learns about your kind. Your biology, history, everything. They reminded him, before Bren saw his worried facial expression and looked away. And it's alright to be nervous. You know, I've been here for many such presentations, and everyone is scared to death that they'll mess up or say the wrong thing. Or even have to run off stage thanks to a panic attack. And all that has happened, by the way. Many times. The ones out there have seen it all too. So, don't worry. Because they're used to it. Bren huffed, patting his shoulder. As long as you get the information across in the end, it doesn't matter how you perform. Just as long as we all learn a few things. It's not that I'm worried about. I practiced a week straight for this. I have every single word I'm gonna say perfectly memorized. Burke said, looking over his notes as he leaned against a nearby wall. It's just the other thing. Like you told me, they're gonna be hit in the face with every important detail about humanity, and it's the history I'm not feeling so good about. Thinking about all the assassinations, wars, and hundreds of genocides that have happened on our worlds throughout the ages makes me sick to my stomach. What if they freak out and think we're crazy warmongers? That captain I met didn't even give me his name. Laughed all this off when I expressed my fears. But is it really something that's gonna be met with amusement? Or rather gasps of horror? Probably just a collective nodding of heads, followed down by them writing numerous personal notes. Bren said immediately, looking back at Burke and giving him a sympathetic smile. Trust me, all species have bad sides to them that they rather wouldn't share. You could have tortured billions of your own kind to death in the past, and none of them will be the least bit bothered. Let me think. Ah, yes. A bemused expression crossed their various faces. There was this presentation a few of your decades back with a person who was one of the last of his kind. And I do really mean last. Their species' population was in the double digits and wouldn't survive another few generations. Too few individuals to make a safe breeding pool, so I heard. Jesus. What happened to them? Or, more specifically, what did they do to themselves? Burke queried, with all the curiosity of a child asking their teacher a question. Civil War. Both sides were completely annihilated by a handful of antimatter bombs at the very end. And the group we found were just the ones who didn't happen to be near any planets at the time. Brand sighed mournfully. 12 entire worlds, all vibrant and full of countless unique forms of life, wiped from the face of the universe. But did we chase them away? Did we react with horror, shock, and have them arrested for being capable of such things? They asked rhetorically. No. We welcomed them with open arms and gifts and everything they needed for their species to live out the rest of their days in relative peace. There are still a few out there, even today. They'll be extinct soon, but they'll all die living the happiest life we can provide them. I see. Burke responded, now feeling a little bit better about the whole scenario. But out of curiosity, if you had met the people directly responsible for killing so much of their own kind, like some kind of dictator. Oh, we'd have them arrested and punished, make no mistake. But we didn't punish the survivors, as they had nothing to do with it. They weren't at fault for the ends of their worlds, and modern humanity isn't at fault for crimes committed by their ancestry. The present and future are what matters, and the past is only to learn from, Bran explained. All in all, we understand. Life is complex, and sentient life, even more so. The criminals of your society will be dealt with according to both our laws, but everyone else, they shrugged, feel free to party in the streets. You're the newest member of our little galaxy group, species number 34,267, he snorted. Doesn't quite slip off the tongue, but it's your thing now. Author's name and the link to original text is in the description. Consider tapping the thumbs up and pressing the subscribe button if you want to listen to the subsequent parts of this story.